Every time a new Mercedes S-Class comes along, it sets new benchmarks in terms of comfort, luxury and tech. And this latest S-Class, well, that was no different. However, when it was launched in India, it set another benchmark. Price. That's because it was launched here at 2.17 crore rupees ex-showroom. That's right, that's not only more expensive than all its rivals, it was more expensive than the Maybach version of the previous S-Class. But there's a reason for that. It was a limited run launch edition, fully loaded with equipment and imported as a CBU. However, that didn't stop customers from lapping that edition up. And now, for regular crore-pratis, there's this, the locally assembled S-Class. It costs a whole lot less. To know how much that is, wait till the end of the video. And there's two reasons for that. One, they've taken out some equipment. And two, it's now an S350D. Now that means I'm going to have to drive it. But this is an S-Class, so of course my journey has to start right here. Yep, this is the seat you want to be in an S-Class, and I mean specifically this seat. The one behind the driver isn't quite as comfortable. This one is equipped with a chauffeur's package that at the touch of a button can send the front passenger seat all the way in the front to give you even more room to stretch out, and lets you recline all the way back and even extends this ottoman for you to rest your calves on. And that's the thing, they've kept pretty much everything in this backseat the same as it was in the launch edition, apart from a few small things. As far as I can remember off the top of my head, things you're missing here are a few more speakers for the Burmester sound system. It's now the Burmester 3D sound system, not the 4D, and that means you don't get speakers in the seats like you used to. And the ambient lighting is just now conventional ambient lighting and not the fancy animated things that used to flow through this strip over here. That's just a piece of black trim now. Apart from that, everything else appears to be exactly the same. Now that includes an armrest that folds down to reveal a tablet controller back here, a second wireless mobile phone charger, these controllers, touchscreens of course to operate just about anything you might want, two separate zones of climate for the back, and of course these incredibly comfortable seats. They have big soft cushions on the headrest, they recline of course, they're heated, cooled and massaging, and like I said earlier, the coolest feature is the full boss recline position. So the backseat is still the deeply opulent experience it always was, and another area Mercedes has been sure not to tamper with things too much is on the outside, where that regal silhouette remains as before. The AMG line body kit is gone, but the standard bumpers are still very classy and laced with just enough chrome for that bit of bling. And they've made sure to keep some of the standout features like the high-res adaptive LED headlamps, the intricate LED tail lamps, and the flush door handles that pop out when the car is unlocked. The one change is that the wheel size has gone down from 20 inches to 19, a sensible move as we'll find out later. Now what about that engine? Before we hit the road though, I hope you've smashed that like button and that you're subscribed to Autocar India. And tell me in the comments if the S-Class is your favorite luxury limousine. So let's get right down to the matter at heart. The downgrade from the 400D engine to the 350D engine. But really, you gotta ask yourself, is it actually a downgrade? You see, the previous S-Class was a 350D, the E-Class is a 350D, and at its core, it's still that same OM656 3-litre straight-six diesel. Okay, so let's take a look at the numbers. The S400D had 330 horsepower and 700 Newton meters of torque, and that is frankly insane for the car this side of an AMG. But this 350D, it has 286 horsepower and 600 Newton meters of torque, which frankly is still ample. But what does it feel like to drive? Will your chauffeur notice the difference between a 400D and a 350D? Well, for all its impressive numbers, the 400D wasn't exactly an aggressive or sporty engine. It was strong to be sure, but it was also quite gentle and smooth in its power delivery. You always felt that you had this nice, heavy reserve of torque to unleash as and when you needed it. The 350D is a very strong engine too, but perhaps lacks that ultimate effortlessness that you got from the 400D. This is a heavy car, remember, upwards of 2 tons, and you need a lot of torque to get it moving smoothly. However, despite driving the car in a variety of different situations, city and highway, never once have I felt that this 350D engine is lacking in any way. It's still incredibly smooth in its power delivery, as you'd expect from a Mercedes 6-cylinder engine. However, I would say that it's perhaps not quite as refined as I'd like. In an S-Class, you expect absolute silence, and there is a little bit of grumble that comes out from under the bonnet. The key phrase there being in an S-Class, because by any other standard, this would be considered very refined. It's just that when you're in what many consider to be the best car in the world, that little engine grumble is a grumble too much. A lot of the equipment that has been taken out from the 400D to arrive at the 350D has been taken out from the driver area. So what all is your chauffeur going to miss out on? For one, the front seats are no longer cooled. They're still heated though, and they still get memory function on both sides, of course. Another thing that's missing is the 3D effect on the digital dials, but frankly, I don't miss that too much because I personally found it a little bit jarring while driving and quite distracting. In place of the high gloss wood on the dashboard with its pinstripe accenting, what you get now is open pore brown wood, which though quite rich in its own right, just doesn't have that same sense of opulence that the old wood used to give you. And then there was the 400D's AMG line steering wheel, which has made way for the more standard new Mercedes steering wheel, which frankly I like a little bit better, and the functionality remains the same. Another thing they've kept in is sensor-based driver aids or ADAS features like adaptive cruise control, active lane keep assist, and auto emergency braking. And while on the subject of features, here's a list of what you get. So as you can see, most of the luxury trappings that are par for the course in this class remain. It's just that some of the gizmos that make you go wow have been taken out. And that's okay, because what really makes an S-Class is luxury and comfort. The ride on the air suspension, as ever before in an S-Class, is just so soft and cushy, just the way you want it. You have no intention for this car to be sporty or hunkered down, and even in its Sport Plus setting, it remains very soft and very comfortable. In comfort mode, well, it's got that extremely soft, cloud-like ride that will just lull you to sleep in the back seat. It's perfect for this kind of car. There has been another pretty significant change, and this one is very important to an S-Class and the passengers that sit in the back. It's that shift from 20-inch alloy wheels to 19-inch alloy wheels, and apart from the aesthetic difference, it has made a difference to the ride quality. You see, despite the cushy ride as a result of the air suspension, the S400D on its 20-inch wheels could feel a little jittery over a bumpy surface, of which we have a lot in India thanks to those low-profile tires. With these 19-inch wheels and taller profile tires with greater rubber between you and the road, you get a much more absorbent ride on a bad surface, and frankly that's just better for Indian conditions. It is an S-Class after all. You want the best ride possible. Now, another thing that will affect your chauffeur more than you is the fact that they've removed rear wheel steering from the S-Class. Now yes, that wasn't an essential feature, and despite this car being as big as it is, it's still pretty easy to steer. But it was just amazing how much easier it was with the rear wheel steering. Whether it came to taking U-turns, parking, or simply making a lane change, it shrunk this massive car's size down to that of a hatchback. I promised I'd tell you about the price, and well, it's a whopping 60 lakh rupees lower than the CBU S400D launch edition. That, however, means it costs 1.57 crore, which is still slightly more expensive than its key rivals, the Audi A8L and the BMW 7 Series. With local assembly, a lot of the gizmos that were the talking points of the new S-Class have been removed, like the in-seat speakers, animated cabin lighting, new frontal airbags for the rear seat, and rear wheel steering. These are arguably things you could live without though, and at its core, this is still an S-Class through and through. It remains the best backseat in the business, and ride comfort is all but unparalleled. The technology looks, feels, and is cutting edge, and ushers in what we can expect from the next generation of Mercedes cars. Refinement could have been a little bit better, but only because we're holding this car to its own extremely high standard. The relaxed straight-six diesel engine is a good fit for a limousine like this and doesn't feel like a downgrade from the 400D. As always, the locally assembled S maintains the high level of quality of its imported counterpart and will more than likely retain its role of the most popular car in the segment.